a place. Today's class is going to focus on a particular thing that you guys have come to asking. If I'm going through these distractions and it's constantly happening to me, and they're pulling me into those things and I have to do something about it, what am I going to do? Now you have to really understand, when you are really going through a path of turmoil, suffering, let's call all that path that what you're going through, health issues, all that, as suffering. Practice is not there to avoid that part of suffering. Practice is actually there. What is you're doing without the practice is you're constantly demonized by these things and you are trying to arrange them. You're going to get rid of it and you're trying to find an object because it gently perpetuates into how to release that space of suffering. I'm not saying that you don't have to take certain levels of objects or painkillers and stuff like that if it's a pain. I'm also asking you the space that you are meditating or you're observing or you are conscious about, and you're allowing that space of suffering to enter into that space. In that way, what happens is you're not reacting anymore into those things. But it is also something that you guys have written to me that I have been doing meditation, I'm doing yoga, but I'm still suffering from these conditions. There is a limitation in the human body, and bringing the body into that space, you're allowing that pain, everything to come into that space. And it's not about getting rid of suffering or trying to work it out to push it out. It's just creating that space that there is a part beyond the mind and the body that can create the space of the being. And I'm sure when the crucifixion happened, Jesus Christ suffered, but there was the body of the space was suffering, but really he was in the space of allowing that space so that suffering can come into that space where you are. You don't have to force it to manage it. So today's practice is going to give you directions of these areas for you to move into that space, whatever is coming as the form of suffering. So it can be anything. It can be an emotion, it can be a thought, it can be an external matter. So very gently focusing onto the areas that we are pointing, and find the purpose of your life, because you are also, as much as taking resources from the earth or the space, you're also meant to give that space that level of understanding and realization. So now taking a deep breath in and very gently coming into that space of whether it's a difficulty, whether it's a tightness, whether it's a mental event. Don't change those thoughts or emotions. You're not asking for a change. You're asking for a space so they can come, they can be there, they can leave without you becoming personal about that personal issue. So some of you, it might be just a gentle breathing through the nostril, and allow the restrictions of the chest, the heart, the elongation of the spine, And very gently that breath to move out. And allowing the space for the next in breath. You're creating the space for the next in thing. And you're also creating a space for things to move out. So this is not asking for the mental noise to become softer. This is not asking anything in return. This is just creating that space. Now very gently, I will move the focus onto Darren's practice. But if you're not ready for a physical practice, it's always good to lie down or sit or being in a place of comfort. Not that being in a place of too much control or forced. Now very gently observe the space between right shoulder and the left shoulder, just the space, not the commentary of why it's tight, why you're having difficulty. Now very gently create the space between the right hip and the left hip. Create space very gently in the right knee and the left knee. Right foot and left foot. Right ear, the left ear. Between the right hand and the left hand. Now, once you have created that space, once you have prepared your body, your mind into the space of servicing the moment, then you're actually servicing the God or serving the God. Your real truth is fulfilling the purpose of that very moment. So let us, if there is a shape, let us that shaped into this purpose, whether it's the body, whether it's the mind. Now taking a deep breath in, very gently once you come into that, palms onto the namaskar position, into a space of gratitude that you are collectively chosen into this moment. You are chosen into this body. You're just chosen into the planet, to the galaxy, whatever the assignment is. Now you're served with the purpose of that. Now very gently, you can do a silent Om in this space of and you're becoming not part of anything, you're part of the whole thing. So this is your holy work today. Very gently, take a deep breath in and stretch towards the left side. Very gently, shoulders relax. Now you have created that space, the purpose. And now let it function from that space to fulfill. Now that it gives you that great significance of that wealth in this very moment. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center. Shoulders relax and chest open. Now very gently change the leg formation. And very gently take a deep breath in, elongate the space of the spine. Space is God. Space is that consciousness, space is Buddha. So you use your body to honor that space, not opposite to that space. Twisting the spine to the right side on the out breath. As the Christians know that God paid a great price for you. Just create that space. Just purely out of your deep gratitude, out of the deep joy that coming from that space of God, space of Buddha. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center. Shoulders relax, lift up the space of the heart very gently. Very gently let go of the past. It is forgiven. Let this bring that meaning of that, allowing that space of consciousness to land on the space of the holiness. Stretch the neck onto the right side. Very gently using the weight of the right palm, head and neck very gently, shoulder relax. In this way, you're dedicating yourself into the present of the service. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center, onto the other side. At this very moment, when you're not holding on to the memory of the anger, memory of the future frustrations, when you're present in this moment, you have gently coming into the space from the death to life, from sickness onto the opposite to that, from power to the wealth. It only can be created in this present understanding. Breathing in back to the center. Now shrug the shoulders up, take a deep breath in, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull. Open and close the mouth and release the tension of all that you're holding on the jaw. The question, the fear, the desire, all your needs as a, not a realization, but as a personality. Chin to the chest, breathe out, drop the shoulders. Breathing in back to the center, shoulders relaxed and chest open. Now very gently coming into the Garudasana, right arm on top of the left arm, but you're sitting on the meditation pose. And very gently take a deep breath in and open up to the ceiling first. And breathe out into a space of the cat by holding the Garudasana, loosening the spine, very gently servicing that space of the God, space of the moment. Breathing in, opening up very gently, stroke the third eye and very gently breathe out into the space of the cat. Now very gently observe what are your new gift to this moment. Is that you're foreseeing things? Is that you can see things clearly? Breathing in, elongate the spine, twist the spine to the right, opening up that shoulders, releasing the tension of the back. Wider as more as possible. And very gently allow that moment, we accepting that grace to be present. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center, changing the leg formation, and very gently preparing your purpose into the Garudasana, left on the top. Now, your higher realization of the God, or whatever you call the nature, the Buddha, is having that purpose, the ministry for you, the mission into the space. Breathe out very gently, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock into the space of the cat. Now you're servicing that space. Your growth is into that space, growing. Breathing in, opening up. Tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Breath out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock in that space of the Garudasana. Now, regardless of your job or the career, you are now calling in to serve the present. Personalities, or whatever it is. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center, twisting the spine on the out breath onto the left side. Opening up that space. Now, on this present moment, there is an ability that comes up to you that you can see the other because you're fulfilling the space. Before, you're only seeing yourself and you're seeing the others to benefit you. Now you see the other to benefit them. In the Christianity, in the Buddhism, now you're working on the purpose, that why you have been brought into this body, brought into this time, brought into this family, brought into this situation. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax, and just open. Now very gently shake those arms, relax those tension. Now very gently take a deep breath in, stretch your left arm and holding from the right fingers onto the bottom and opening up, and very gently focus without tightening the shoulder blades, very gently, maybe just trigger one finger at a time to see whether you can open up that space where you are holding certain things. At this very moment, start listening from that space of your realization, seeing through that. Breathing in very gently, coming back and relax. Now to the other side, right arm stretched, left arm holding, very gently opening up without lifting up the right shoulder too much. So you're bringing all parts as one part, not as a separation. Breathing in very gently, trigger one finger at a time, very gently. and let go. Now interlacing the fingers, palms facing into the front, breathing in, opening up, bringing up to the ceiling, shoulders drop, create the space. Spread the wings wider and release the tension. Now take a deep breath in and bringing the palms up, interlacing the fingers and bringing that interlacing into the back of the neck. Tilt the head back and bring the elbows closing to the front, tilt the head back and giving that massage to the C1 and C2. Interlacing the fingers so that your neck is supported by a brace. Now very gently moving the neck side to side, breathe out, elbows together, chin to the chest, breathe out. Breathing in, opening up, spreading the elbows out and look up to the ceiling. Breathe out, elbows together, head down, totally relaxed. Breathing in back to the center, shoulders relaxed and chest open, spread the wings wider to release. Now take a deep breath in, very gently bringing that left leg into the back, opening up the right hip into a pigeon pose. Very gently sitting and stretching that left leg, creating that space of the hip, creating that space for the moment to be more and more. Now, this is a very good part for people who are trying to find the logic of things. Impression without expression causes us depression. Now, our knowledge without servicing leads to a spiritual stagnation. So very gently coming into this realization, the polarity of the mind, and observe and witness it. Shoulders roll back, take a deep breath in and very gently breathe out, drop the elbows into the front and finding that space where you can very gently observe. Now, everybody in these days are always changing, going from one place to another, say one practice to another practice. But you have to understand this modern society is no more than anything. But what is the problem here is they are not putting it into the practice. What they really need is to come into the service of that learning and exercise to grow their spiritual muscles. As anything, everything needs constant work. So ask yourself that you know so much and what you are not doing today. What you are not bringing into this moment. Ask yourself. Or are you going to be at the end of the life and be sad about it that you didn't make that change? Just this moment, observe and evaluate how well you have served others with your life. The purpose that you have come, the trees comes to give fruits. The air comes to support you. Earth is holding you. Sun is there every day and in the morning again. Ask yourself, when you were given the opportunity to serve, what do you serve most? Is that yourself and your problems and your personality struggling? Breathing in very gently, coming back, opening up that space, elevate the space of the heart. Shoulders relax, chest open. Bringing back into the space. So if you're struggling with the earlier ones that I said, allow the suffering come into this space where there will be a shift to come back into that space of service in the moment. Breathing in very gently, coming back into a gentle plank. Strong on the pelvic floor, drop the knees, very gently stretch the spine, palms facing up. Get that bum closer to the buttocks, palms facing up very gently. Those shoulder blades are not in the space of reaction, not in the place of that you're mentally carrying so much. People carry more weight mentally than physically. And physical bodies tend to be tired, not because of anything, because they're carrying too much in the head. So in this very moment, ask, if this is the end of your life, have you lived that life fully? Think about the implications of that. Is it all the time we spend the energy into our heads and about ourselves? Or was there any time that we have invested into this present moment where it can serve the others? Because that's the way you can get rid of that personality, get rid of that ego. Is it you were too busy? Is it that you had your own goals? Preoccupied without noticing to thank someone? Or you were preparing your retirement when the rest of the surrounding is gone barren? Now ask, if there was a creator, what would that creator would say to you? Was that creator serve you for that? Now this is why this practice is bringing you into that space of understanding. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in into a space of the up face. Overlooking onto the left side from the up face, overlooking onto the right side from the up face. Open up that space just above the gravity, back to the center. Breathe out towards the down face. Shoulders relax and just open. Now very gently, left arm reaching into the back, up to the ceiling, so you can open up into the front onto the down face, right arm back, up to the ceiling, into the front onto the down face. Now very gently lifting up onto the toes. Breathe out down to the heels. Now very gently left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose. Shoulders roll back, opening up that space, the support. Shoulders relax to the service pathway that is the real significance. Shoulders roll back. Drop the elbows very gently. Right leg totally stretch and open up. Even the right foot can face up. This make you more into that space of not less, but more. So now you can see when the momentum, the moment is working through you. But this comes into a place that it's not about how long you have lived, long you have spent, how you have lived and how you have spent in that present moment. Take a deep breath in, palms facing up, shoulders relaxed, very gently coming into that space. Breathing in very gently, coming back, shoulders relaxed, just open, lift up the space of the heart. Into a plank. Stronger on the pelvic floor now. Breathe out towards the down face. Breathing into a plank. Breathe out towards the down face. Into a plank. Now very gently left knee onto the floor. Now right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Clench and unclench, opening up the right hip. Very gently keep that stretch happening and giving that space, the design for this pose, breathing into that purpose of the pose. And very gently observe in this very moment the intended function of this pose. Right, reaching into the back, touch the floor. Now right knee onto the floor, left leg stretch into the back, left arm reaching into the front, up to the ceiling. Observe the breath. Pay attention. Exactly how that moment is serving this posture. Left reaching into the back, touch the floor. Now very gently drop the knees. Now rotate the hips on a circular motion, giving that space of the digestion. Opening up wider, wider. Now to the other side, wider and wider and wider. Very gently take a deep breath in and push the hips forward. Push the hips into the back. Push the hips forward. And stretch the spine into the back, knees wide apart. Palms facing up so that just observe the ability of the palms facing up. The interest in the breath, the gift of the moment, experience. Now, really come into the space of discovering the moment, discovering of the life in this very moment. Now take a deep breath in, palms facing down, knees together, breathe out very gently into the space of the down face. Now take a deep breath in, left leg up into the back, higher as possible. Left leg, once you stretch totally up to the ceiling, the left leg up as much as possible. Left hip is on top of the right hip now. Open up a little bit more onto the left. Left knee to the chest, breathe out. Breathing in, stretch back, left knee to the left elbow. Breathe in, stretch back, left knee to the right elbow, breathe out. Breathing in, stretch back, left foot into the front. Arms stretch into the back. Arms raise onto the ground. Palms facing up. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Now take a deep breath in. Very gently turn onto the right, opening up into the Virabhadrasana. Now don't let go the knee too much from the ankle. So if you're doing that, just walk the back foot into the back a little bit and sit onto the space of the ankle. Soften those toes. Take a deep breath in, left palm facing up, a gentle arch. Breathing in back to the center. Sit deep enough, straighten the front knee. And if you have a block, straighten the front knee, straighten and moving into the Purna Trikonasana. So use it with a block so that you're not forcing anything anymore. You're not trying to reach, but what you're trying to do here is open up the shoulder, the chest, the hip. Now your right arm stretch up, clench and unclench to release any tension. Now very gently breathing from the right side of the nostril into the third eye, out through the left nostril. Now if the Trikonasana is hard, you can bend the knees and still do the same breathing. Breathing through the right nostril into the third eye, out through the left nostril. Gently focusing on breathing in through the left into the third eye and out through the right. Make adjustment very gently that benefit you. Right, reaching into the back and touch the floor. Now very gently left arm reaching up to the ceiling, bending the knee up to the ceiling, left arm reaching into the back and touch the floor on the right side. Now very gently, if you have a bolster, then the bolster, if you can drop the elbows, you can drop the elbows and very gently pushing the hips into the front and into the back and warming up if it is still cold around where you're practicing, and very gently use this posture to help you to open up that hips, the groin, the tightness of the leg, the buttocks and glute. Or very gently bring in that space and allow those spaces to be open, not unopen, to be open. Now release the tension that you're holding, whether it is the attention in the space of an envy as a force or a control in your body. Maybe it is the dissatisfaction. Remember, invite that whatever you're suffering into the space that you're giving to it. Whether it's resentful or jealousy. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Very gently walking those palms back. Bringing that left arm onto the left side, left palm forward. Now holding onto the front knee, shoulders relaxed and chest open. step on. Breathing in, shoulders relaxed, arms raised onto the ground. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up, shoulders relaxed. Keep your shoulders square, keep your hips square. Bring that space into that space of servicing that moment. So preparing the body into that space where you have neglect before, you're bringing that factors now. Discovering where it is restricted, where it's not servicing the space of the body, but holding on to something that you mentally thought. Spread the wings wider and touch the floor. Into a plank. Drop the knees. Stretch the spine very gently into the back, palms facing out. Very gently, allowing that space. Very gently creating that space of your heart to reveal the space of real you, not covering it with lots of mind knowledge, but you truly are. Not what others to think about you, what you would like others to think about you. Ask now the inquiry from this present moment, why you say things in a certain ways, why you say the things that you do, why you feel the way you do, why you act the way you do. Ask yourself in the space of inquiry. From this space, just leave in the inquiry. Don't try to answer it. Then you will create guilt. You're going into another polarity. So very gently take a deep breath in, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Drop the belly, softening the hips, breathing in into the space of our face. Shoulders relaxed, chest open on the space of the throat, shoulders a little bit back. If you need to stretch to side, use this opportunity. Breathe out towards the down face. So very gently physically warm up into that space. Just let it be that your unique space of your movement, the heart, just unique for you. You don't have to do what others are doing. Right leg up into the back. Rotation to the right foot, right knee to the right chest. Breathe out. Breathing in, stretch back that right leg as much as possible into the back, opening up, right hip on top of the left. Opening up, right knee to the right elbow. Breathing in, stretch back, right knee to the left elbow. Breathing in, stretch back, right foot into the front. Arms stretching to the back, interlacing the fingers, bending the knee, sitting deeper. Arms raised onto the ground. If your knee is going past that ankle, just take the adjustment from the back foot. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Opening up onto the Virabhadrasana onto the left. turn this present moment to capture your attention. Reveal the nature in the posture of this moment. Gentle arch, opening up, back to the center. Very gently straightening the knee, not totally locking, opening up into the Trikonasana. If you can come into that pose without the force, then do it. Otherwise, use a block and modify your posture. Observing that breath coming through the left nostril into the third eye, out through the right nostril. Now observe your mind, how it works, how it reacts, certain things, how you overprotect. But also listen to the space, that if there is a difficulty, even with that difficulty, how you can serve the purpose of the present moment fully. Now ask yourself where you don't have the heart and you have become discouraged in certain spaces of life. Now left reaching into the back, touch the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Observe the breath. Observe the right reaching into the back, touch the floor on the left. Now take a deep breath in. You can drop the knee and very gently ease into this flow, very gently, so you can open up that space with the interest to serve that space without triggering that space that already having. So listen to your inner prompting, so you can very gently point to the space with harmony, without triggering it. And that very moment your service in that space. Take a gentle couple of breaths to open up. Whatever the difficulty is, you're opening up into that space without force. Very gently coming back, take a deep breath in. Holding onto the front knee. Give a gentle opening up, pushing the knee and hip into the front and into the back. Arms stretching to the back, clench and unclench. Arms raise onto the ground, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Spread the wings wider and express the space of the heart. Remember, spread the wings wider and touch the floor into a plank. Now very gently drop the knees. Coming into a space of a neutral spine, neutral hip. Now very gently, left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Opening up, left arm reaching into the back. And under the right armpit. Dropping the shoulder and very gently adjusting the right shoulder to come on top, or left shoulder to squeeze in a little bit towards the right side and stretching, and even your buttocks can relax at this very moment. Instead of aiming the posture to force, just allow the posture to create that special space that you not knew before. Now very gently take that deep breath in and very gently coming back into a gentle space of a cat. Drop the belly into the space of the cow, tongue roll up on the upper palate. Breathe out. Breathing into a neutral spine now. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Right arm reaching into the back, under the armpit. Now very gently observe in the consciousness of the present moment that giving you the ability to do certain things, whether it's a posture, whether it's a breath. The abilities are from that space. The difficulties are, most of them, without the consciousness, can come from your mind. Remember, the God gave everything from the birth, in that space. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax. Completely breathe out. Inner lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in. Drop the belly, opening up the third eye, tongue roll up onto the energy, gazing onto the third eye. Back to the center. A neutral spine, and give a good rotation to the hips. Wider rotation. On to the other side. Now very gently push the hips forward. Push the hips into the back. Now into a neutral space. Now your palms are facing down, so you inwardly bring the palms and drop the wrist onto the floor, palms facing up into the back. So now this is, if just allow, because I've been doing this because I'm having a triggering finger. So very gently, without forcing the energy into it, try to open up those fingers a little bit more, the wrist. Even you may push the shoulders into the back and into the front, finding a space of comfort. Now take a deep breath and relax into a child pose. Relax that third eye. Now very gently bring that closer to the knees, the head. Now roll onto the crown of the head, lifting up the buttocks. Now very gently return back to the third eye, fist on the third eye, the space of that. Now very present moment, you're building the space of that realization. Or very gently wake up the spine one vertebra at a time. Just open. Or very gently stretch the legs into the front. Give a good rotation to the feet. And give a good shake to the feet. Now, very gently bring your block under the feet. So your feet is elevated. If you have. Now take a deep breath in. Arms raised onto the ground. Now you still can bend the knees if you want. Interlacing the fingers. Breathe out, reaching forward as much as possible. Now, if you need to bend your knees, bend the knees. And try to accommodate rather than pulling from your shoulder, you're rolling from your hips. So even if you bend the knees and try to land your chest on the knees, while even the feet, that will accommodate the pose to be more easy, and you will have these hidden abilities to move into that pose and encouraging very gently. No matter what's the age and the problem it is, what I'm trying to do is experiment with it rather than your old story. Now, don't try to figure it out what I'm going to get out of this practice without volunteering into the practice. Okay? So that's where a lot of people have gone from one place to another place, still trying to find the purpose of life. Now take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. You can take the blocks out, palms facing into the back down. Lift up the posture as much as possible. Toes pointing into the floor, whatever you can. Take a deep breath and coming back, knees to the chest and breathe out. Breathing in, arms raised onto the ground, stretch. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out, knees to the chest, lock onto the toes. Now keep your spine elongated on that alignment. And when you're ready, feet wide apart. Shoulders relaxed, just so if you're not forcing anything, just observe where you can hold the posture. Discover the gift. Discover the involvement of the volunteering into the pose rather than holding into your old story. And chin up, great. Knees to the chest, breathe out. Now very gently cross the legs and twist the spine to the right. Back to the center. Cross the legs and twisting the spine to the other side. Breathing. Now, just taking a moment, this profound level of that you're serving the moment. In a time of that world is pushing us to be great, power, possessions, positions, popularity. Very gently allow today's practice rather than servicing the popular concept. How can you serve this present moment? Not the status of the personality. How many people in difficulty that we have take opportunity to serve? Not how many people that servicing or serving you. This is where the world is, how many servants you have. Before I go to bed, I think how many people I have become the servant to. The greatness that having hard time to understanding it and leaving it there rather than using my knowledge to plaster it. So take a moment in your servanthood. These days, everyone wants to lead, no one wants to serve. You can see in Christianity, even the Jesus is to be a servant. That's what he called himself. Just bringing that space of the service of the heart. Sometimes our most important test is coming when that space asks us to serve and shape us to be servicing that we have difficulty with. So ask yourself what is today's for you. Instead of everything is a problem and how can it shape you to serve that space of what you're going will reveal your maturity, reveal your purpose of life. Now, once you have come into that space, very gently raise the arms back to the ground, cleansing the space and the aura of that realization. Palms under the Namaskar position in the space of realization. Touch the earth, respect for this time that you're passing through this earth. And making your life a pilgrimage, not a loud noise as a tourist with heavy bags, very gently coming out of the physical practice, but keeping this state of consciousness throughout the day. So there will be many, many gifts coming as realization. Namaste. So we have few people have, so just so Rebecca and Des, good to see you. Melissa, great to see you. Sylvia, great to see you. Marie, good to see you. Beata, Jordan, Pam, there was another lady, I think it's just not there. So you could see that today's practice is finding a space of that difficulty that your knowledge and your facts of the past telling even this person or this situation needs my help. I don't want to do it. So remember what I said in the start of the class. No one wants to be in the service or the servant. Everyone wants to be having servants. Always we find knowledge to get out of things. But we are not allowing the knowledge will only become wisdom if we are going to live in that space of the truth. So ask yourself on the space of that heart today, what are the things that I'm going to look into? It's that I want a wealth of security, or I have done the purpose of my soul, which what the nature is. We are all created by this space of whatever we call God, nature, Buddha, Allah to serve, and they were the great servants. One thing I've learned about these great leaders were they were not on a pedestal where everyone went to worship them. It was not like that before. It was they were servicing. And see where you can do. I think you are doing great as a mother, as a friend, as a lover. And if there is something thrown on your way, then that is also from higher level of that we don't even understand why we are servicing it. So my love to you all, and big love, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for all the support and love. Big hugs. Bye.